Hey there, everybody. Anne here. Here I am. What does a tutor do when she's done with her classes for the day? It's in the afternoon and she gets a text message from her brother-in-law asking for some special soap to be made. Well, I'm making soap. I thought I'd take you along with me. Let's take a look at what we have here. We have a whole bunch of what's known as hard oils. There's coconut oil, palm oil, there's some shea butter in there. And I also have some oils, which are of course the liquid oils, a lot of olive oil, some castor oil, and apricot seed oil, which is really wonderful for your skin. So, also on the table, I have this thing, which is for my stick blender. I have the fragrance. I have a container of blue dye, which is a mica-based dye. This is a natural ingredient. I have water, and I have the contents of this, which is lye. This is lye. And for this reason is why I've got my gloves on and I've got my hair back and I'm being very careful about it, because this stuff right here, it will give you a burn on your skin if you're not careful. So here's how it goes. The first thing, I take my my water here and I grab a spatula and I carefully, very carefully pour this in and I stir it. And instantly a chemical reaction is going to take place. And that reaction has heat that comes out. Right now this is really hot. I have a thermometer somewhere, but I don't see it right here that I can actually tell you how hot it is. Hold on a sec, let me see if I can find it. I found it. It's an infrared thermometer, about $14 on Amazon. Check this out. I'm gonna see what the temperature is here and look at what it is. 208 degrees Fahrenheit. That's hot, but I'm going to use that heat. And I'm going to use it to melt these butters and oils right here. So I pour this in carefully. Yes, my hand is hot. Woo! Get all this out. Put this aside because woohoo, that's hot. And I'm going to go ahead and stir this and have the heat of that lye solution start to melt these oils. And it'll melt it most of the way. I get impatient, so it would melt it the whole way, but I get impatient, so I'm just gonna stir till my patience is up, and then I'm gonna actually probably stick blend it. So this is what's known as the heat transfer system. So I'm just using that heat once again to melt these oils, and look what's happening. Let's look at the temperature again. You suppose that temperature is lower? Yep, it is. There it is. And look how much it's melted too. Doing a pretty good job of that. I'll tell you, at this point, you could see that, yeah, there's a little bit of oil left, right? That's actually shea butter right there. Shea butter is always the last right here. It's the last thing to melt. So I'm going to actually probably take these oils. I'm going to pour them in, and this is going to further lower the temperature, woohoo, of this mixture, which we want it lower. We definitely want it lower. So I get as much out as I can. Remember, there's a lot of olive oil, there's apricot seed oil, castor oil is in there, all right? And then I'm gonna take my stick blender. I don't know if you guys have ever seen a stick blender before, but that's this right here. This thing attaches to here. I bet you have seen this. Well, this is a great thing for soap making. I'm going to put it in here and I'm gonna blend it. See that? blending it, come down, get some of those pieces out, get all the pieces out. And I'm looking to mix it so that it's thoroughly mixed, but not super mixed. So I'm intentionally causing the chemical process, which is called saponification. I'm intentionally speeding it up by really super mixing it. Those chemicals, that lye is super working with the oils. So this is about right for the stage I want. All right, it's mixed. There, it's worked out. The lye is busy working with it. I'm just going to take a little bit of this off. And now I get to, first of all, clean it off. One thing about soap making is that you have to keep it clean. Got to keep the area clean. This is 91% alcohol, rubbing alcohol. 91%, because it needs to be as sterile as possible. And I already sterilized all these things here. But now I'm going to take a different container, a fresh container, and I'm going to really fill this one up actually. Here we go. I'm mixing this up. That's probably about right. Okay. And I'm going to take this blue right here. This is called Caribbean Blue Mica. Can you see that? Caribbean Blue. It's mica rock that has been powdered just to a super powder, and along with what it says here is, I believe, ultramarine blue, which is a natural color. So I mixed some of it with olive oil, and here it goes. It's going to go in this one. And I can just put it all in. I'm putting it all in. Going all in with this. Okay, there's this one. Now, for this one, I want it white. That's what my brother-in-law wants. He wants it white. So what I have in here is I have titanium dioxide, which is another rock. It's just a powdered rock that I dissolved in water. And look what happens to that. I'm going to squeeze this out, and that's going to turn this thing white. All right, that's probably enough. That's probably enough. We'll see, though. Now, I'm going to mix this around a little bit. For kicks, let's see what the temperature of this red bucket is right now. It was 140. Now it's 111. That's good. Okay, we're good. We're good with that. The other thing you might notice about this blue, can you see that this is no longer blue, but it's actually more of a green color? And that's because this color actually morphs when it gets in contact with the lye. But as soon as all the saponification is over, by tomorrow, it will be back to that blue color, and it really will too. So I'm going to set that there for a second. I'm going to get another spatula. I'm going to look at this one. I'm going to stir it around just a little bit to see if I have enough. I don't. So let me put a little more in, and I'm going to be messy, of course. And here goes more stick blending. So I'm going to blend all this together with the stick blender, and the last thing is the fragrance. Alrighty, so here goes. More stick blending, not too much. I don't know, that could actually, even more. I could put more in there. That would not be a problem. Look at that. You might notice it gets lighter as I stick blend it. It does. That's why you stick blend. You want it good and light. Now this one, I'm going to have to stick blend it too. And it's okay if I put a little bit of white in here. It's not going to bother it at all. So let me put this over where you can see it better. Here goes. I'm just mixing it up a little bit. All right, now, last but not least, the fragrance. Now, this fragrance is Icy Shine, And it is a fragrance that is actually found in shampoos. I believe I have a shampoo that has this fragrance. Well, this is the one that he wants, so that's what he gets. Half will go in the blue, half will go in the white. Here goes. Blue, and here's the white. There, that's about right. It doesn't have to be perfect. Let me clear this out of the way. This is my mold. I'm going to be putting it in there in a second. So, quick stick blend. One more time. One more time, stick blend. Just quick, make sure that the fragrance gets in there. And I will put some in here. It won't bother the white. All right, that's it. That's all we need. And we'll just, I'll get rid of some of this off. That's a good thing. It's always a good thing not to waste too much. All right, I'll have to mix that again. All right, now, here is the mold. I got it right here. Make sure you can see it. It's right here. And this mold, I'm going to fill with the mixture. And I'll have to clean up because we have to keep it clean. All right, there we go. You got that? There it is. All right, here's what I'm going to do. For this particular recipe and what he wants, I'm going to have to do what's called an in the pot swirl, which is I'm going to take this, I'm going to dump this in, and I'm going to swirl it a little bit, then put the whole thing in my mold. Ready? So some here, some there, some there. Sort of all over the place, maybe in the center. It's going to fill the bowl up. Alrighty, and then of course this comes out. All this comes out. Just like that. We'll keep it going. Don't want to waste it. Before I pour it, I'll take the temperature of it again. Last time, what was it, 111? Let's see what it is now. 102. Ah, that's good. That's cool. So here goes. So I'm going to just mix this. I don't really have to do that, but I'm going to anyway, just to make sure that there's a really good mixture to it. And now I'm going to pour it in the mold. All right, can you see that? Here, like that. See, there you go. And I'm just going to pour it in. See what happens? Just pouring it in. This is going to make more than what's in this mold, so I have another one that I'll put the rest of the batter in. And that's about right there. All right, that's about right. We'll clean up a little bit. And you can see that this is all set. Now I could do fancy things at the top, and actually I may, so I might give it a minute, and then we'll see if we can do something fancy on the top. So hold on till, it has to be less fluid, so it's got to set up a little bit. So I'll be right back. Alrighty, it's about 3 or 4 minutes later, and what is going to happen here is this batter is now in here, and it's going to solidify. It's going to take about 24 hours to solidify, and while it's solidifying, that lye is working on those oils and turning them to soap. And when it turns to soap chemically, there is no more lye in here whatsoever. It turns chemically into soap, and we get to use that in order to wash things, wash ourselves and everything else. So what's happening, let's take a look at this, the temperature of this now. It's now at 101, going down. And I'm going to take a spoon, and I'm going to see if I can just, I don't want to do like a fancy top to it necessarily, but just a little something just to make it unique and special for him. Something like that. I don't know. Maybe I could do it this a couple times. Maybe I'll do it like that. Maybe I'll come over like that all the way. There we go. Oops. There. Just enough like this. Not too high, just like that, just a little decoration like that. Alrighty, so something like that is fine for him. I'm going to tap it down a little bit, and you can see that this is floppy right here. So I'm going to be taking this thing right here, this container right here, and I use it to squeeze the side so that it stays straight, or as straight as I can get it. Alrighty, so that's what I'm going to be doing with this. With the extra batter, I put it in this. I had to sort of makeshift this really quickly, but there's enough batter left for probably 3 more bars of soap. And this particular, Richard made this one for me. It's for obviously for small amounts of batter, and I had to use a couple of my bottles and things in order to make sure that this soap actually stays there. So there you go. I had to MacGyver that thing right there in order to make it work. And that's just an index card, by the way, keeping that up. So these are gonna sit, and they're gonna sit here for 24 hours. And we're gonna let that saponification happen. And in 24 hours, I'll be back and we'll continue the process. Okay, hopefully this is a good angle and we can see what I'm doing here. But this soap cutter, of course, it comes down and there's a wire. This wire right here is going to cut the soap. But when you store it, it's got to be loose. So I've got to tighten it up. So it's just like tuning any kind of a string instrument. I've got to check it out, and I've got to make sure that it's tight enough. Probably about right there is okay. And let's see what happens. Here's the first cut. What does that look like? All right, look at that. Let's do another one. And see what that looks like? See that? There you go. So that's the soap. The other side, of course, looks like that. And that's the soap. I'm going to put this over here on this pink tray where it will dry and it will cure. We'll cut again. This one. And on the other side. It's a nice bar. Nice, solid bar. There we go. Here's this one. And that. And we'll put it over here. So I will go ahead and cut the rest of these. And I'll do it kind of quickly because this can be boring. But I wanted to remind us that yesterday I was talking about the heat coming off of the lye, and that heat was so hot that it melted those hard oils. And that, there's a scientific name for that, and that's the word exothermic. That was an exothermic reaction that took place. The process of those chemicals coming together, that lye and those oils and that water, it caused heat. Exothermic. And I also said a 6-syllable word yesterday. And if you can remember what that 6-syllable word was, then put it in the comments below. And if enough people get it right, maybe I'll just have a drawing and I'll send you a bar of this soap. It is nice. The nice bar, nice soap. All right, probably have 2 more to go. One, then this one. See, they all kind of look the same. And definitely one more. This one here, like that, and that. And then this one right here, I'm actually going to save because this will be it's not as thick. So this will be a bar of soap that I will probably give away to someone. So that's what I'll do with that. I'm not going to cut that any further. So that's it. the making of Pat Beltran's Icy Shine soap. Let's take a look at it. There it is right there. You'll see that I also cut the soap from the other mold that I had. It's a little whiter. The soap has more white in it. There it is right there. There's more white in it. That happens, but there are 1, 2, 3 bars from the mold that Richard made for me. Alrighty, that's it. Remember, you remember that 6-syllable word from yesterday, put it in the comments below. Alrighty, thanks for watching.